Well, you know our friend Steve Sexton from the Sexton Advisory Group, who's a frequent guest here on San Diego Living, giving you financial advice. Well, we've got some big news here this morning, and you're going to be able to get your financial advice a little more regularly from Steve. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too,
Mark. How have you been?
Great.
Now, business, it looks like, around San Diego is starting to pick up.
Yes, it is.
And the word that we hear from Washington and the numbers coming out, while it's still bumpy, still a bumpy ride, people really need an expert to guide them through the turbulent waters here. It does look like things are getting better, and this is a good time to start getting advice, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So, talk to me about what's going to happen on Tuesdays from now on.
Mark, we have had so many people reach out to us, whether it be our workshop or what have you with our nonprofit, with questions and concerns pertaining to their financial planning. And, you know, some people feel we're still in trying times, and some of those topics are taxes, understanding their investment risk, what investments to pick, and there's so much more. So on our weekly advisories, what we're doing here is we're focusing on those areas that have of great concern for the people who have shared those things with us. Now, each week we're going to be focusing on one of those areas. I'm going to be sharing my expertise and experience and giving people the help they need to get the answers they're looking for. More importantly, I'm going to tell them what they need to know to help make a good decision.
Well, and somebody like yourself who lives and breathes this picks up, I mean, an infinite amount of information that we really can't do in just, you know, one or two little 4 or 5 minute segments here on an occasional basis. So that folks know that they can come every Tuesday now, get that advice at a regular time. That's going to be very, very helpful. And somebody like yourself will probably usually say that it doesn't matter whether the financial times are good or bad. There's always money to be made for the smart investor.
That's correct.
So you'll pass on some of those tips, I'm assuming, too.
Oh, yes.
Well, just give me a little example here about the kind of information we'll be sharing.
Well, first of all, many people, whether they're in good times or bad times, they're making money, but they don't realize a lot of things could be falling through the cracks. And one of those things is understanding your personal financial situation. And in order to do that, one must understand all that goes along with, where is all my money coming from? Whether if you're working right now, that could be rental property, that could be your income, that could be many other things. If you're retired, it's Social Security, pensions, and many other things as well. But they still need to get a handle on the expenses. And we talked about that before. That's all about, hey, getting 3 months, average it out, add in a few things like the trips and travel that you're doing, and then figuring out what you need. Okay, and what I mean by that is how much do I need to take out of my nest egg each month? So if somebody says, hey, I need $1,000 a month, and they have a $300,000 nest egg, that means they're taking 4%. If they have a $400,000 nest egg, they can protect $300,000 and put $100,000 at risk to hopefully grow larger for them in the future. So we'll be talking about some of those things like that to help people understand where they are and then understand their priorities and how to fund those priorities so they can have a great life.
Now, what about seminars and so forth?
Seminars, we do a large number of seminars. Our next workshop's going to be in Fallbrook at Palo Mesa. That's in December. We also have one going on Tuesday night at the Rancho Bernardo Inn. People can call in and get scheduled in for that if they still want to. But we'll be doing a large number of those seminars.
And here we've got the information up here on the screen as well for Rancho Bernardo and so forth, Sexton Advisory Group. So we'll leave that up for a second or two and let folks be able to jot down some of this information. It's never too early to start, is it? I mean, if you feel that you're in dire straits, you know, that's one situation. If you are in pretty good shape, but you're a beginning investor, that's a totally different situation. But you handle that full range, correct?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We handle the full range of investments depending on what person's age are, whether they're starting with just putting in $250 a month or somebody's putting in larger amounts that might be closer to retirement.
And what's the biggest single piece of advice that you give people, other than get started now, don't wait another day?
Understand your situation, understand what you need and where you want to go, but more importantly, have a plan. Whether you're working with somebody like myself or somebody else, you need to understand where you want to go in reference to that plan and make sure that advisor is managing that plan the way you want, not the way the advisor wants.
Do you have to work with people in terms of when they say where they want to go, sometimes making their expectations realistic? Are some people just not focused on a realistic goal sometimes?
Oh yes, you know, it happens all the time. In fact, we have people right now that are looking at selling their home and using those proceeds to fund future things, such as, hey, I'm moving into a 55 and older community. So for example, they don't understand the impact of taxes when they do something like that. You know, when you sell a business or a property, there's proceeds that come out of it, and those proceeds are something that needs to be derived from that to fund those future events. And sometimes, you know what, they won't. And all too often, somebody will sell something and think, hey, I'm going to be able to do this, and they can't. But if you can sit down and understand and illustrate what's going to happen, you can have an opportunity to make some changes and get realistic about the what you can arrive from that.
See, beautiful example, especially with the real estate market being what it is in San Diego right now. It all ties together, and Steve can do all of that for you. So, Steve Sexton, really excited. Every Tuesday now we'll be getting personalized advice from you. So, folks, you can just know that if you're here on San Diego Living, every Tuesday you're going to be seeing Steve and getting some great information.
One last thing.
Absolutely.
You know what? On these weekly advisories, people share with a lot of things. Now, somebody can go to our website at www.sextonadvisorygroup.com. They can go in there and ask Steve. If they come in there and they write a question, we might use it on the air.
Great idea.
So
great idea.
They can call our office. We'll respond to everything personally, and we'll give them the answers they're looking for.
And don't you usually find that if one person asks a question, there's probably at least 5 more that are wondering the same thing out there?
It's just like having kids. It's, you know, I have a 6th grader. They all do the same thing.
Okay. Steve Sexton,
Thanks,
great
Mark.
to have you on board as part of the team. That's really exciting.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, I hope.
Sounds good.
Okay.